Why did you get fired? 1. I was tasked with washing something that would have 100% electrocuted me. I refused. They fired me, then asked another employee to do it and they were electrocuted. They got sued into oblivion and the place is gone now. Missed my chance for a big payout. 2. I was 16 and working at an Ace Hardware as an after-school/weekend job. One of my responsibilities was taking out the trash at the end of the night. One evening, I was closing with another guy who was a long-time employee. He said he would get the trash and that I could go home. Come in the next day to my boss waiting for me. He says, "How come the trash wasn't taken out last night?" I respond that the other employee said he'd do it and told me go home. Boss says that's not what the other employee is saying, says I was supposed to do it and just left. I disagree, get fired. Over 20 years later, still salty. 3. Got fired for quitting. Phones weren't allowed on job sites. But, we were expected to call into dispatch before 5 p.m. to get our next daily assignment. But we worked from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. almost every day, so we couldn't call into dispatch. After being reprimanded for not calling in on time, I said, this job isn't going to work out and I quit. Dispatcher said, "You have no idea how stressful you people make things for me, you're fired, and no longer allowed to work for this agency." 4. I asked too many questions but also did too much on my own without asking for clarification. Then I pointed out that those two things in my review conflicted, and they really didn't care for that. 5. I openly mocked my supervisor's spelling errors and didn't show up to a shift they scheduled me for after I specifically told them I couldn't work that time. 6. Back in high school, I didn't invite my 30-something-year-old manager to my underage drinking party. Fired the next shift at work during a rush. 7. District manager emailed the whole store giving us a large list of tasks to complete before Black Friday. Jokingly, I simply typed no. And showed my coworker, just to get a cheap laugh. I was obviously not going to send that. Before I could react, my coworker reached over and hit send. My heart dropped and I got a phone call later that evening saying I wasn't a team player and I was refusing a direct order from a superior. I tried to explain it was a joke and that I accidentally hit send, then I got berated for not taking the job seriously. Looking back, it was a blessing in disguise. It was the last Thanksgiving with my brother before he passed. 8. Quality standards kept changing unpredictably while time limits kept crunching tighter and tighter. Eventually my quality slips one too many times and boom, that's all folks. The entire program shut down about a year after I fell off. The company had lost their contract. I sure didn't have to wonder why.